Okay, I wasn't gonna make a little video clip of this, but of mixing this up. You should be able to figure that out. But I'm just gonna do a little. See, there's probably a half a pound right there, and I like to do it out of a little water bottle. That way I can control how much to mix. I've only done a few patches in my entire life, but hey, it's not really that hard. I could have used a different container without a ridge at the bottom, but hey, whatever. Right. Doesn't seem like it's wanting to mix up very well, but I think it's just because I don't have enough water in there yet. I should have started with not as much to begin with, but it's okay. And if you get too much water in there at first, just add a little bit more grout, dry grout. See, it would have been easier for me to do it in my drywall pan, but I just wanted to show you, if you didn't have one, you could do it in a little container like this. Right, after all that, I might have added too much water. Yeah, probably. All right, so put a little more in. Of course, there has to be a landscaper guy out and about, right? I opened the door because there's not much light in here. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna put any more grout in there. That's probably enough. And what I might do is just let this sit just for a couple minutes, just to kind of thicken up just a hair. But see, it's just going to be kind of like cake batter, and there's only so dry you can mix it up. You know what I mean? You've got to get it to this consistency, and then we'll let it harden up just a hair. And then I'll mix it a little bit before I put it in. Could I put it in just like that? Yeah, probably. I probably could, but I'm going to let it thicken up just a little bit, okay? And that amount right there is probably the same amount that was in that little container, 1 pound. And see, you could, if you thought you were going to need all of it, you could have just use that same container and put your water right in it, they say. But I didn't want to do that because, if you only need a half a pound, no sense wasting the rest, right? It's always nice. When you get done with the project, it's always nice to have some extra. And I'm looking at that grout color, just with it being wet, and it's going to blend in just rather nicely along there. And I wasn't too concerned. I just wanted to get something as close as possible, and knowing that eventually this whole area going into the kitchen, the front door, down the hallway is going to get discolored over time walking, and mother's got a walker in here and things like that, and it's just going to get kind of darker. That's why I wanted to pick a little piece out of here and not try to match it to the top of it, match it to the side and the bottom of it, so I could get the true actual color, because I know over time this line is going to get dirty, don't I? And from here out to there, we've got a rug that we put in the front, so the only line that you're going to see is from here to about there. And this is going to match up. At first, after I put it down, and for the first few weeks, maybe even a month or so, this could be slightly lighter and whiter than everything else, only because this grout is 20 years old. This will relax over time, and it's going to get dirty over time, and when I clean it, it's going to blend in like everything else. So I'm not too concerned about it at all. Okay, so I'm going to wait a few minutes. I'll be right back to you, and I'll put it on just with this putty knife. Now see, if I was doing an entire floor patch, let's say, that consistency right there is fine, you know, and I would put it on with a trowel thing. It's got a thick rubberized deal on there. You can get those at the hardware store. They got two different kinds to float it on and just put it on there. But because I'm just doing this one thing, I'm not going to go to the store and buy one of those, you know, $7, $8, $10, whatever it is, just for this one line. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm going to use my putty knife, and I could put it in there right now, but I'm gonna wait just for a little bit. And if I was putting that on a backsplash above a kitchen countertop, let's say, yes, this consistency is just fine for that, and for entire floors. I've seen these guys, they just whisk it on there, you know, guys who are professionals at it. But hey, this is a patch. A patch is a patch is a patch. But when I get done with this, it's going to look like everything else. Okay? And that's just how it works. Me, an average Joe, can do it. That means you can do it too. Of course. Now I'm still waiting for this to dry up a little bit. I'm going to wait another 3 or 4 minutes. It hasn't been very long, okay? So I'm just going to talk to you. Once I put it on there, how long should I leave it down before wiping it off? Here's something really important to realize. You don't want to wipe it off right away. Look at the directions. Make sure you read the directions. I know you might be laughing. Oh, I know how to do it. Just mix it, put it on there, and wipe it off. Well, no. You would be incorrect on that. You want to leave it. It says let it dry up to 15 to 30 minutes. And you're like, okay, what is it? Is it going to be 15 minutes? It's going to be 30 minutes. Well, it depends. How soupy it is when you install it. It depends how far you get. If you're going to be in the sun, if you're going to be in the shade a little bit, if you're going to do one whole little area and then start working somewhere else. If one area is going to be 15, 20 minutes, another area might be 30 minutes. You never know. But I'm going to wait at least 15 minutes before I gingerly start wiping it off with my sponge. And yes, I told you I was just going to use this sponge. They have tile sponges at the store, you know, but like I say, I'm just doing this. I'm just using a kitchen sponge like that. And I like to use the scouring side on this side, because if I wait too long, let's say I wait a little bit too long, I can just use the scouring side and just rub it on there a little bit before I slightly want to wipe it off. You know what I mean? And I look at the tile, the grout, and I see that it's depressed in there. So I want to try to mimic that, and usually it's depressed because when they wipe it off with the sponge, it depresses a little bit, and that's what you want. You don't want it perfectly flat anyways. You see what I mean? It's going to get your natural roll. But you want to try to do it nice and even, because if you don't, you're going to have high spots and low spots. And if you get a low spot, then you get more discoloration than everything around it. See, this area right here is lower than this line. See, this line looks whiter than this line, doesn't it? Well, that's because the sun is over there. When it comes along here, it hits this edge of the tile, and it casts a shadow on your line. You could scrub this all day long and wipe it and wipe it and wipe it, and it's still going to be that color because the sun, the shadows coming this way. Okay, but and this is deeper depressed than it is over here. Even though the sun's hitting it here, over here it looks discolored. That's because I can see the tile is up a little bit higher there, and it's been kind of pooched down. Here I can see the grout is pooched way down there. I say way down, it's probably 1/16 of an inch or less there than it is right there. That's why that is slightly discolored, because it's down lower and it's you're casting shadow from here down into there. Okay, so you just kind of have to be aware of that. And because we're doing a patch, I'll be as careful as I can, trying to mimic it. And hey, if I get it just slightly too low or something, and I think I should have waited a little bit longer, no problem. Put a little bit more on. You know what I mean? Trial and error, and you'll get it done. And see, when I get into the sun, I'll probably close the door. I don't want this to dry up too much more than that, and I'll just kind of have to go back and forth, and you'll get it. It'll be fine, and you'll learn along the way for next time. And I'm sure you'll be able to do it.